Have you ever had the situation where you've set up an ad campaign on the Amazon ads platform and you just get zero impressions? Or maybe you get some impressions, but not very many at all, and you're wondering why?
But why?
This has happened to me many times. So in this video, I'm going to cover 5 different reasons why you might not be getting impressions on your ad campaign and what you can do about it. I actually set up my first ad, I think, in January 2021, if I recall correctly. And that was quite a long time after I started KDP, about a year into it. And that's because I was a bit scared of setting up ads. I didn't know what to do. I was out of my comfort zone. I was worried that I spent tons of money. But really, it's not like that. You can be very careful at the beginning, tread carefully, and you don't have to spend a huge amount of money just to learn the ropes. Anyway, I'm not going to go into all of that. I do have an ads playlist. I only have a few videos on there right now, but there are going to be more in the future for sure.
So smash that subscribe button.
So first of all, what are impressions? Now, hopefully if you're watching this video, you know what they are already, but I thought I better cover it anyway, just in case. So impressions are simply when a customer sees your ad on the Amazon platform. So let's say I'm scrolling away and I'm looking for a cat coloring book. And one of the first results is a sponsored listing. Well, that's going to count as one impression. So simply me viewing the ad is an impression. So if you have very few or zero impressions, this literally means that there are very few or zero people actually seeing your listing at all. So the first reason you might not be getting very many impressions is all down to the niche and keywords that you are targeting. I had a case recently when I started an automatic campaign for a brand new book, and it had very, very low impressions. I think there were sort of 9 or 10 impressions, and I'd had the ad running for a few days. So I kept raising my bid every 3 to 4 days by 15%. Now, for ages, I didn't realize that you could raise your bid by percentages. So I used to do it just, by a few cents or whatever. But I find it is a much easier way to track things. Another thing is that I do actually write down now. Whenever I do make a change with my ads, I use a Chrome extension called Chrome Notes. It's really simple and easy to use, and it's a great way to just jot down things like that. You can write multiple notes on there. So in general, I raise or lower a bid by 10 to 15%, 10% if it's already a very low bid. So anyway, to clarify, it sometimes seems that Amazon doesn't really acknowledge what your niche is or what keywords to rank you for. And this is especially the case if you're in a very narrow niche. So this was the case for me. So what Amazon was doing was it was actually trying to rank me for keywords that were very generic and very broad. And because they were broad, I was never going to rank for them because my bid was too low. And also because the book really isn't relevant to the keywords that it was trying to rank me for, and they were too generic. So it might be that they're targeting broad keywords or just keywords that don't have very much search volume at all. And in either case, you're probably not going to get any impressions. Even if they are trying to target one of these really highly competitive keywords, I'm not going to be seen because I'll be on page 50 or something with this ad that no one ever sees. So in this situation, if you run an auto campaign and you're just getting nowhere and have zero impressions, or even with an exact match ad or similar, then I would try a product targeting ad. It's definitely one of my favorite types of ad because you can really target books that are already in your niche and target people and customers that are already interested in it. So the second reason you might not be getting impressions is your bid isn't high enough. If I start a campaign on a fairly low bid, it's not unusual to not get impressions right away. And in this case, like I said previously, I'll increase my bid by 10 to 15%, probably every 3 to 4 days or so. Again, if it doesn't work, then another type of campaign may work better because usually it will have different results. So the third reason why you might not be getting impressions is you have too many keywords in your campaign. So if you have a lot of keywords in your campaign, your budget is probably going to be too low to cover that. So when I personally start a manual campaign now, I tend to stick to around 20 or so keywords. maybe a bit more, maybe a bit less. It really depends. You might want to set up 2 different campaigns, 2 different ad budgets, for example, with different types of keyword. And it really depends on how much search volume each of the keywords have. So if you have a bunch of keywords but they're not competitive whatsoever, then obviously a smaller ad budget is going to cover that kind of thing. But if you have a lot and there are a few that are actually very competitive keywords, then often it's going to be those big keywords that squeeze out all of the budget. But in this sense, I'm talking about a manual campaign where you obviously choose your own keywords as opposed to an auto campaign where Amazon is choosing your keywords. When you have lots and lots of keywords, let's say you have 100 keywords in a campaign, the chances are that there are going to be a lot of those keywords that are really not relevant enough for your book. Especially when you're targeting a very specific niche, for example, you're not going to have that many keywords that are going to really be highly relevant. And I think that's really important when it comes to keywords. So the 4th reason that you may not be getting impressions is that your keywords are too competitive or too irrelevant. If you choose generic, short tail, broad keywords for your campaign, then the chances are that other traditionally published authors who have a big budget will be paying, a lot of money to be ranking on the first page for those keywords. So an example of this would be something really, broad, like activity book. So you need to be searching for longer tail keywords that you can target. Then you might have half a chance of actually ranking for them. Also, really look at the market and the results for the niche that you're trying to target and see if there are a lot of traditional published authors in there, because those are kind of what we want to watch out for. Ideally, you want to be in a space where there are a lot of independently published authors, because they will have a lower ad spend budget, just like most of us all do, because obviously we don't get that many royalties for our books. Ultimately, most people are looking at a couple of dollars, sometimes even less, per book. So you haven't got a massive ad budget there. So you just need to be looking for longer tail keywords that maybe have a smaller search volume, but you have a much better chance of targeting and getting ranked for by Amazon. As far as tools go that can help you with that, I personally recommend Publisher Rocket for a budget option. It's a one-off price. I do use that regularly. You might want to try Helium 10, but that is a much more expensive tool which has a monthly subscription. You don't 100% need to have these additional things. You can just look on Amazon, and there's plenty of research that I do on Amazon. I didn't have tools when I first started at all. So as I mentioned before, irrelevant keywords can also cause you a problem. So let's say you have a space colouring book, but you're using keywords like unicorn colouring book in your campaign. Well, the chances are that Amazon is not going to rank you for that keyword because it's not related to your book. So the 5th reason that you might not be getting impressions is that there could be a glitch. So occasionally Amazon ads can be a little bit glitchy. It's not the best system in the world. It definitely has happened to me when I've set up a campaign. There is just like no data at all. 0 impressions, 0 activity, but then you just set up basically an identical campaign again, and then it works, and then you are getting impressions. So I don't know why this happens, but I've definitely heard it from many other people before, and it's definitely happened to me as well on several occasions. So I hope you found this video useful. Obviously, if you think I've missed something out here and there's some other reasons why you might not be getting impressions, then please feel free to leave that in the comments below. So have a great rest of your week, and I will speak to you again very soon.